quiet before the meeting. This is unusual. I call to order the Waverly City Council for September 19th, 2016. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as distributed by our city clerk, Carla Geyer?
So move.
Been motioned. Is there a second?
Second.
Council discussion. All in favor signify with yes.
Yes.
This becomes our official agenda. We welcome back to the second meeting as guest council person, Matthew Stewart. Matthew, any opening words of wisdom you'd like to share with us? Or
I'm okay.
you're okay and ready to rock and roll? All right. At this time, I would entertain any public comments on any items not on tonight's agenda. No, Greg was here to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Craig Murr. I live at 1204 First Avenue Northeast, which is in the Bridal Spur edition of Waverly. For those that you don't know where that is, we have Bridal Spur Court and First Avenue Northeast. If you go east on Bramer, Terex, you turn left up 12th Street Northeast. So we have 16 homes in our subdivision, 8 homes on each street. And I'm here to talk tonight about the runoff that we're experiencing from the subdivisions that are being built on top of us, High Point 1 and High Point 2, and that's the subdivision that the road is going to go through up by the water tower on the north edge of town on Bramer Road there. And several of our homeowners, especially one, have experienced great runoff the last few months with the heavy rains and actually, rivers of mud running through their backyard, leaving 4 or 5 inches deep of silt and things like that. So I just want to bring that to the attention. If there's someone that we can talk to, we appreciate that. We do have a retention pond and in between Bridal Spur and First Avenue Northeast. It kind of sits in the backyards of those properties. My house has most of the shoreline of the pond, and when the subdivision was built 25 years ago, the pond was about 15 to 20 feet deep. Now it's about 6 to 8 feet deep. So over the years, we've got a lot of rain, a lot of erosion from which was once cropland, cattle lots, horse lots, a lot of manure, chemicals, et cetera, have come down into our pond and has started to raise the level of that where, pretty soon in a few years, maybe there won't be as much volume as we can have there. So we'd just like to bring that to the council's attention and to the city's attention to see if something can be done. I talked to our council person, Dan, and he mentioned to come here today. We had our annual meeting yesterday, and some discussion was held on this, and it was asked if I would come to the council tonight, so here I am. Someone said that there were supposed to be some silt fences built up there to hold back some of the water and the dirt and the erosion. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't think anything was done on that. Now with the road being almost ready to pave, and a lot of other areas that are, just kind of there, ready to erode as more rain comes, it poses a problem for us. We have assessments on our subdivision. Everyone, the homeowners association owns this pond. I don't know if it might be the only retention pond in Waverly that has water in the neighborhood. I don't know. But we've already repaired one of the culverts coming in. Some of the tie joints had broken. That was, close to $2,500. We try to maintain the pond and keep it clean, and we experienced a lot of duck algae and things like that, and duckweed, and that was another close to $2,500 of expense. So it's very costly to maintain this retention pond, and the benefit to us is probably nothing. There's the benefit to the city and the subdivisions above us, draining into it. So just want to bring that to the attention. If there's someone that we can talk to in the city that heads up that, or what division that falls under. We like to.
Always
talk
starts
to
with
them.
the city administrator. Do you have any?
Take care of it, sir.
Pardon me?
I'll take care of it.
So if you can just.
So if you deal with
get
our
in
city
touch with me,
administrator, that'd be
I'll
good.
get that. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Other public comments on any agenda items not on tonight's agenda? Then we have 5 items on tonight's consent calendar. They are a WHKS bill for the dry run, Iowa Falls Roofing Company bill for the Civic Center roof repair. We have 2 liquor licenses, one for East Bremer Diner, the other for the OP, and we have our August cash disbursements. Is there a motion?
I'd move the approval of the consent calendar.
It's been motioned. Is there a second?
Second?
Motion seconded. All in favor signify with yes.
Yes.
Opposed with no. Unanimously passed. Regular business number 1 is to approve the purchase of an asphalt hauler for the Public Works Department. City Administrator, pretty routine. Any comments?
Only that we did have this on last week. We added a attachment to it. That's why it was back for this week. Kind of a hydraulic opener to help that gate shut when you're spilling asphalt out. Sometimes by hand, that doesn't work so good. So the option will be well worth the additional little bit of money to hydraulically shut that door. But this was a budgeted item that came in close to budget. And so, again, it's just a routine replacement for this piece of equipment.
Thank you. Formal motion.
Move approval of purchase of a Spalding 4T LR-MV asphalt hauler with hydraulic door opener from Spalding manufacturer of Saginaw, Michigan.
For the net.
Oh, for the net price of $22,660, which includes a trade-in of the city's old asphalt hauler for $1,500.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. Council discussion. Public input on this? All in favor signify with yes.
Yes.
Opposed with no. Purchase will be made. Regular business item number 2 is the final pay request for our water slide. Let's go directly to a motion.
I'll move Resolution 1677, accepting the renovation of the outdoor swimming pool water slides as complete and approving pay request number 2 in the amount of $6,800 and final pay request of $26,470.83 to Fisher Brothers of Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Is there a second? Second. Motion seconded. Council discussion. Public input, which might be some cheering, I would hope. Roll call vote, please.
Resnichek.
Yes.
Waldstein.
Yes.
Lampy.
Yes.
McKenzie.
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
Share.
Yes.
Angus.
Resolution 16-77 is unanimously approved. Regular business item number 3 is to repair the utility cuts and other deterioration in our asphalt streets for this fall. City Administrator, pretty routine.
Yes, sir. It was the only bid we received. Just a little over 10.8, 10.9, and be from the Erodies tax and utility reimbursement. So just a repair of the asphalt cuts, as it mentions.
Good. Let's go to a formal motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 1678, awarding the asphalt patching fall to 2016 project to completion of construction of Farley, Iowa, for the bid amount of $8,896.86.
Second, please.
Second.
Motion and second. Council discussion.
I just have a question about what contributes to only getting one bid?
Mike Cherry answer that.
Just not very much quantity. It's a very small contract, and it is the result of just not having as many utility patches, which is, I guess, kind of a good thing. So it's just a smaller amount, which garners less interest from the contractors.
Thanks.
Just follow-up question, Mike. Since we only have one bid, is there some way to determine it's a good bid or that we're not paying too much?
Yep, this contractor did the work for the spring patching, and the prices are very comparable, so it's a reasonable bid.
Public input? Roll call vote, please.
Waldstein.
Yes.
Lampy.
Yes.
McKenzie.
Yes.
Gade.
Yes.
Share.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Resincheck.
Resolution 16-78, unanimously approved. Regular business item number 4 is the sidewalk contract in front of Norby's and Farmer State Bank. City Administrator, all of a sudden, this pretty active area out there.
Seems to be. We are putting the sidewalk in lieu of the right-of-way that we were wanting in front of Norby's, and then Farmers has also agreed to reimburse to have that sidewalk placed in front of them as well, connecting up that area. I know we'd mentioned it prior in council, and this is that final result coming to fruition.
That's for the public. This is something we've been looking at, but want everyone to know that important piece, as important as we're going to do tonight, eventually be able to bike out to Farmer State Bank,
Absolutely.
past Norby's. Sounds pretty good. Formal motion.
I move Resolution 1679 awarding contract for the 4th Street Southwest Sidewalk Construction 2016 project to Kenny Bloker Masonry of Clarksville, Iowa, for the bid amount of $20,551.
Second.
Seconded. Council discussion.
Is there plans, when you drive that section, I mean, there's a lot of good sidewalks, but when you hit the Hy-Vee, Miller to Value strip mall area, there's no sidewalk there. There's always like a ton of sale signs and stuff that I think are probably in the right of way that maybe shouldn't be. I know we have laws, you can't put stuff in the city right of way for signs, but I always wonder why there isn't a sidewalk there too that would help connect all that. But because McDonald's put one in, but then it just stops, you know. I don't know if that's something we can look forward to at completing at some point, or.
I would hope so, that we'd have that gap filled. I don't know if you have any comment, Bill, on
I
that.
think in lieu, what was explained to me is that they were allowed to use their parking lot as the access for sidewalk, or for pedestrians in that area, as opposed to having a separate sidewalk put in. That's what was informed of.
That's correct, and that section's a little more challenging because of the embankment.
Yeah, okay. Is it, I just know that with all the signage that gets put on there, normally there's a city ordinance that you can't put signage in the city right away. Is that something?
Ben's pretty active sometimes getting those out of there. Sometimes it just gets too much going on, and
I just kind of wonder.
we try to remind them not to do it, but they do it anyway.
Yep, sounds good.
It's a good advertising spot, though.
I know, there's always about 20 of them there. There's some kind of sale going on.
Public input on this. Roll call vote.
Lampy.
Yes.
McKenzie.
Yes.
Gade.
Yes.
Share.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Resincheck.
Yes.
Waldstein.
Yes.
Resolution 16-78 is unanimously approved. Regular business item number 5 is resolved to support DOT's plan to move to a 3-lane traffic configuration. City Administrator, could you summarize, bring us up to date how everything has happened to this time?
Yes, sir. I'll try to do that. This has been going on for 6 months plus. We started looking at having a series of meetings to address a lot of the concerns for businesses along this corridor, public input, a lot of fact-finding, et cetera. And so there were 3 separate public meetings held through the course of this year. You've seen numerous presentations from DOT and WHKS engineers, Fed facts stated from multiple cities throughout the state, and different items have been brought up from combine passage to snow removal to you name it. It's been exhausted as far as the amount of information that's been put out there, and I feel good that it's been vetted to the point that it's solid to where the council could certainly vote tonight, get this project moving. As I've stated earlier in the paper, regardless 4-lane, 3-lane, DOT goes through, project is done. We'll look at streetscape probably another couple weeks to finalize that, which again is not conducive to either scenario. Both are compatible with that. So I guess unless there's any questions council would have, we've seen this a lot in the last 6 months, and I know myself and I think staff are ready to have direction and move this forward. So,
Thank you. I'd like to compliment everyone who's been part of this process, especially the council, but the entire city. This is democracy in action, and most of us have stayed fairly open, trying to weigh 3-lane, 4-lane, and we do need to thank DOT for coming to us with a lot of concern and heartfelt feelings for what is good for us and what isn't, and looking out for safety. But we have many sides to this issue, and we'll decide in a few minutes which way this goes. But to stay open to the end, weighing all the facts that come out as they come out, is our responsibility, and we've done a fairly good job at that. I just want to also take this off of a win-lose position that sometimes I'll hear on the street. This is just doing what's best, and I like our votes to be just whatever we think is best. And then we'll all be for whatever we decide. I would entertain a formal motion.
I would move Resolution 1680 supporting the Iowa Department of Transportation's plan to convert Iowa Highway 3 from Waverly from a 4-lane to a 3-lane road geometry.
A second.
Second.
Council discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to offer an amendment to the resolution.
Okay.
I have a copy. Pass one down to Eric even for the newspaper on this.
Okay.
would you like it on the screen, sir?
It could if you want there.
Yes, one.
Basically, I can go down the points of the amendment, but essentially what the essence of the amendment is to change from supporting the DOT's preference to switch to a 3-lane to what I believe is the general consensus of the population, from what I've heard, is to maintain a 4-lane, and I would like to be able to vote in the affirmative of maintaining the 4-lane geometry of Highway 3 as opposed to voting against a conversion of it. So that is essentially what I've done with this, and so I can get that up there.
Maybe
I don't have tab here to run the expert on it. Essentially, I changed.
Why don't you just read it through?
I can read
We'll
through.
take the time. We've been moving fast.
Okay. Basically, it is a resolution supporting the City of Waverly's position in favor of maintaining the 4-lane roadway geometry of Iowa Highway 3 through Waverly. And then I kept a couple of whereases that were in there, but instead of just simply taking the statistics, we acknowledge the statistics of the crash rates, and proposed 3-lane geometry does have crash rates, and I'm not going to dispute that. The proposed safety buffers may allow for better access to parked vehicles and accommodate bicycles, but I've also heard some concerns about that from citizens, both in favor of bicycles that are pro-bicycles that aren't necessarily in favor of the buffers. I added a whereas pedestrian accommodations and safety measures can be accomplished with streetscape enhancements and corner bump outs. And the DOT's traffic study shows no projected decrease in the level of service or increase in traffic delays at most, but not all intersections. And that was one of the first presentations they gave us. They noted that 12th Street and 4th Street would actually show a decrease in level of service through their projections. Then I added a few more whereases that kind of fill what I think are the position of most of the citizens of Waverly that have contacted me on this. Whereas there will still be areas of congestion regardless of configuration at some intersections, and whereas the impact of future growth in a second east-west corridor through town has not been determined, and whereas the majority of public opinion is opposed to a change in the geometry, and whereas the transition to a three-lane roadway geometry can be accomplished at a later date once further developments have occurred, the resolution of the City Council of the City of Waverly support the maintaining of the current four-way roadway geometry of Iowa Highway 3 through Waverly until such time as a new corridor through town has been created and new traffic patterns can be determined.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is a substitute motion, which would take a second.
Yeah, it's amending the.
Oh, this is really amendment then?
Yeah, it's an amendment to the resolution.
Okay. Is there a second to the amendment of the resolution?
Second.
Or Dan will first.
Double seconded. Okay, council discussion on the amendment to the motion.
In the audience wanted one.
I'll just say, I think Tim, this looks good. I think Tim did a good job here, and I would agree that, keeping it, it'd be nice to vote in favor of getting the reconstruction of Bremer Avenue, because that's something Waverly has fought for a long time, to get Bremer Avenue redone. So we can vote in favor of the reconstruction, keeping it 4-lane, but yet, like he says down below here, once there's another east-west corridor, most likely Cedar River Parkway gets done, then we can reassess the data at that time and always come back and change it or keep it the same, however we want to do once there's another way to get through town. So I would be in favor of this. Sounds good.
At this point, we were simply voting on whether this becomes the resolution we vote on. All in favor signify with yes.
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 Opposed with no.
No.
Passes. Now, this becomes the resolution of discussion. Now council discussion just on this motion.
I guess maybe I'll start out here. I appreciate the mayor's comments leading into this. I think from the beginning I encouraged folks to try to stay open to letting the process work itself out. And for the most part, I think a large percentage of the population did that. And I say that because similar to with the Green Bridge project, as we got close to the final vote there, I had people that maybe were strongly opposed to the 3-lane call me and say, we can see the merits, but Tim points out their buts. It's if the 3rd Street Bridge was functional, we'd get some of the traffic off of there. If the lights were timed a little bit different, we might be able to support the 3-lane. If we could get some of the local truck traffic off of Bremer and on the Parkway, we'd feel a whole lot more comfortable with it. So I've been a strong supporter of the 3-lane. Again, my profession is safety and security, and my hobby is keeping the community safe. So it's hard for me not to gravitate towards something that makes people safer. But I have heard the public both for and against it, and I tend to agree at this time it may not be the appropriate time to go to 3-lane. That we need to get some of these other projects taken care of, get through some of the travel fatigue that the community has had the last couple of years with the Dry Run project and some of the road closures there with the downtown project. If I had a better understanding when all of this would come together, considering this is a 2-year project, I would still probably vote in favor of the 3-lane at this point, but I'm just not real comfortable that we can get some of the traffic off of it in time. So it's a long-winded way of saying I still strongly support the 3-lane, but I do understand the message behind your revision to the amendment, and I could support that.
Other comments?
Since you did bring up traffic light timing, I think there's A lot of discussion on the intersection at 4th Street and Bremer Avenue.
Yes.
And I think that maybe we should take a look at maybe doing some trials on arrow timing, how long you allow people to turn at 4th Avenue, allow maybe 2 or 3 more cars to get through there.
Or
I think
4
that
or
would-
5.
Or 4 or 5. Well, I mean, and it could be done time sensitive, in the afternoon at peak times where you're not going to slow down traffic at other times as well. So I think that could be a project, my suggestion anyway. Take it for what it's worth.
Good one, Dan. Thank you. Other comments?
I want to echo, or in a way, what Dan said, most of what Dan McKenzie has said. And Tim, I appreciate your work on this. I have remained open to what citizens have been saying to me, and also to the work of the DOT, which I hope that they know that at least I and perhaps some others have appreciated the work that they've done in the research that they provided us. And I think it's important, and I don't think we should lose sight of it. But I, too, in remaining open on this issue, have come to the conclusion that the vast majority of the public is in favor of maintaining the 4-lane. And so what I like about this resolution is that it does say we will be committed to a revisit. It doesn't say it exactly the way I'm saying it, but that we will revisit this after we have seen more patterns of traffic development, given the other projects that are going on in town. Because I really do want to do that. I hope this isn't necessarily the final say on it, that we will let this play out and that we will come back and take another look at it at a later point in time to determine whether it's the right decision or not, and also whether citizens and the public perhaps will have more information by that time to say, yes, this is absolutely the right thing, or let's take a look at a 3-lane option down the road. So I guess 3 things, or 4 maybe. Appreciate Tim's work on this. Appreciate the DOT's survey and the good information that they gave us. I've heard the minority voices in this too, and I see several of you sitting out there today. But I've heard from many more on both sides. But it's very clear to me that the 4-lane, as far as the citizens of Waverly are concerned, is the preferred option. And so I don't have a problem supporting this amended resolution.
I would, I'm going to be the minority voice here because I really do have a concern about safety. I think that DOT has made a good case for it. I've heard lots of input from citizens, not just in my ward, but many in my ward, on both sides of it. I think it would be safe to say that the folks that I have heard from have been more concerned about safety than about some of the other arguments. I personally am concerned about it because I've almost been a victim of some drivers overdriving the speed limit on 4 lanes on Bremer Avenue. I take issue with the third whereas in the substitute resolution, which says, whereas proposed safety buffers may allow for better access to parked vehicles. It seems to me there is no doubt that 3 lanes would provide better access and more safety for people getting in and out of their cars. I'm amazed that we haven't had serious injury, unless perhaps we have, and I'm not aware of it, on this street already. And if we come to the point where somebody's injured because we decided 4 lanes was simply a better way to do this, I'm not going to feel good about that. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be outvoted on this. I'm not uncomfortable being in the minority, but I do want to say something about safety. And if we adopt this resolution, I would strongly urge the council to take seriously a commitment to take another look when we have another passageway through the city so that we can deal with safety, because at this point we're not really dealing with it.
Thank you.
I appreciate your, well, if you're going to speak, go ahead. Appreciate you, Mike, taking that approach. Safety to me was a large concern, and I was interested when the DOT came forward with their data. One of the challenges I had, though, is initially when I saw the data, it was from cities that I felt didn't really compare to Waverly, streets that weren't the same, towns that didn't have the same river constraint and so forth. And then the data of the accidents per the total, I was really interested to see what else was out there. So I actually, with the help of our police department, got the data from all the accidents to see what else was going on in Waverly. So I got the data from 2012 actually through 2015, and I actually found that 4th Street has more accidents than Bremer Avenue, which to me concerned me that 4th Street is 2 lanes that goes to very well-defined turn lanes and so forth. There's actually more accidents there than there are on Bremer Avenue. Actually, there's more accidents in parking lots in Waverly than there are on Bremer Avenue. So I would like to see, as we go through this, as we do another study, I'd like to see maybe a different approach or maybe a more complete approach. It seems like maybe we were really focused on 3 lanes, and I'd like to see maybe a more comprehensive look with that. Just from the simple research that I found, I actually found that there's probably, I could say that it's probably safer on Bremer than it does in other areas in town. I've been very supportive of doing this, but at the right time. I think right now we're in the process of repairing the Green Bridge. That'll be open soon. We're looking at funding and completing the 10th Avenue Bridge, hopefully part of 2020. My concern is that'll change the dynamics of our city significantly, and I don't think it's vigilant for us to spend money on changing Bremer Avenue prior to that change. And plus, there's just been overwhelming support from businesses downtown. We've talked to businesses up and down Main Street, and this is one topic that they've been very involved in, and they've been very direct that they wanted the 4 lanes and they didn't want to change. So that was, to me, that really kind of trumps a lot of the other research I've done and so forth. It's just the overwhelming, and it wasn't just opinions. It was by businesses that have been there, up to 40 years and more, that were in favor of 4. So that's where I would stand.
Thank you for those comments, David. Other comments?
I guess I would just add, again, I kind of already said I really like how Tim wrote this up, and I agree that it just makes sense to wait until the Green Bridge is open, and like Dave said, till the Cedar River Parkway is done. That's going to dramatically, should change traffic and patterns in Waverly, and then we can get a new study and take a look at things then. I also appreciate our city fire chief and our county sheriff, who also had concerns with response times and things, and both support staying 4 lanes. There may be some evidence that we may reduce some minor accidents on Bremer, but their concern is if there's a fire somewhere in town, it's going to take them longer to get there or longer to respond to certain things. And so there's that balance of, we can maybe reduce some minor accidents on Bremer, but yet if we can't get to a house that's on fire, a couple minutes late, that's something to weigh too. And they've, both spoken about that. And, the latest information too is that we got emailed today from our fire chief and county sheriff, is that the town that went to 3 lanes that the DOT proposed, their police chief is actually working to get that go back to 4 lanes instead of 3. So towns that they showed us.
Cresco, or where is it?
It was Sioux Center.
Sioux Center?
Sioux Center is working to actually go back to 4 lanes as opposed to keeping the 3. And that was the town that they pretty much kind of, or yeah.
You have some contacts there, don't you?
I think they might be looking at going to 5.
5.
Yeah.
Kind of inflated 4, but going to 5, I think is what they're looking at doing.
So that's a whole different, yeah.
Well, just a
Not going
upgrade of,
back from 4.
you know, their traffic flow, et cetera. But again, it's still more than 3, 4. It's 5.
It'd be kind of like what's out by Walmart, that 4 lanes with the dedicated turn. I think is kind of what they're talking about. So
all the way through town.
yeah,
I think that's where they're heading.
They've obviously switched too. So I don't know. With all that said, you know, I'm in favor of hearing that, of staying with the 4 lanes. Businesses have really supported that. They want to stay with 4 lanes, and you know, the great news is we're going to get a brand new road out of this. It's going to last for a long time, and that's the main thing that we need in this town is a Bremer Avenue that is smooth and doesn't ruin your tires and cause a lot of problems. So we'll get a nice brand new road, and that'll be a big benefit for us. So
I think I hear an underpinning of concern for safety from all of you, but balanced against a larger picture.
And that's basically what I was trying to accomplish, and as I've told people, I've lived in a town that went from a 3-lane, or from a 4-lane to a 3-lane, and I've seen it work, but it was a much smaller town with a lot less volume of traffic. I do believe that it would be, in the long run, safer, but at this point, I think there are still questions, and being it is our only traffic point, and even the video last week was shown not at a peak time, did show some contradiction there as far as a car trying to turn into the fairway and getting hung up on the turn there. That I really, the big thing was, I thought the consensus of the community, from what I've heard, is yes, they want safety, but they just don't see the 3 lanes as being that much safer at this point. And I wanted to have something that council could vote for in the affirmative to kind of say this is what we, as a council representing the city, has heard from the people what we want.
Right.
Mayor, in the context of having this be something the community can support, I'm wondering if Tim would be open to striking the whereas that states the majority of the public opinion is opposed. Again, yes, early on, there was a very strong public opinion that we shouldn't go to 3-lane, but again, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I would say it's been 50-50 with folks that have been contacting me, and I don't know that whereas really adds anything to the resolution, and I'm wondering if you'd be willing to strike that.
We could strike that one. That would
Make that a motion.
If it's agreed with the person of the motion and of the second, who seconded it?
Thank you.
Would you be willing to agree to that? Was it?
Yeah, no,
Oh, you
it's-
double seconded. Would you guys both agree to that? And we will just eliminate that. I would like to just say that I think the process of ownership of the town is extremely important, and I think you've spoken to that. I do put out a little caveat here in terms of safety, just from a personal note, not only people who've contacted me about getting in and out of their cars, and people called me up with close calls where they were going to open their door and they forgot the truck was coming, and it was so close. And then, so they're for the safety part of this, but just for my own family, because we're downtown and walking all the time, is we have to hope and pray that the bump outs are sufficient to keep us safe. If we had 1 lane, that would be a point for that. But I think we all know that. We're just balancing it against other stuff. But we have to make sure that we become more pedestrian friendly. I think it'd be better for the town, and hopefully the bump outs will take that, and education. We just have to start looking for people walking, and that's that. So that's a little addendum or asterisk on this discussion. I think we're very close to a roll call vote on the amendment to the resolution 16-80.
One thing, just one topic that, and maybe you're kind of alluding that Wes pointed out, that we heard from our fire chief and sheriff and others, and I appreciate them coming forward in that public way, and their public official, I appreciate them coming forward and representing the groups that they represent. To me, it helped because we look to those folks to do that. So it's not required for them to come forward. So I just wanted to thank them for doing that. They could have had an opinion one way or another, and I appreciate them sticking their necks out to do that.
Roll call vote, please.
Which page? Mackenzie?
Yes.
Cade?
Yes.
Scher?
No.
Kangas?
Yes.
Resnichek?
Yeah. I was going to ask for a point of order also. Don't we
Yes.
normally allow public comments?
Oops.
We normally do. I just thinking we had the public weigh in forever and ever and ever, and to load up. Is there anyone here who came to speak to this issue?
I don't want to put people on the spot. Can we kind of rewind a second and offer that? Or, yeah.
We can redo the vote. Never happened.
I didn't hear anything you had said.
Yeah, we should vote. Yeah, I'd be fine with letting her speak. That's good.
I mean, I know I for one encouraged people, everybody that contacted me to come tonight, and if they hadn't, we normally
Okay.
have public comments, I
Okay.
thought.
Okay. Mayor is willing to entertain before, and then we're just backing up. We won't just continue where we were. We'll go back and roll call vote so that we can stand to be influenced here. So the public may weigh in here before we vote.
Right here.
Over to the mic, yeah.
First of all, I just want to introduce you to two members of the public who cross Bramer Avenue about 6 times a day. This is Oscar Leong. He's 6 years old. He attends West Cedar Elementary, and he walks to school every day across Bramer Avenue. He also enjoys visiting the public library at least 4 times a week. 9 times? Okay. This is Delia Leong. She just turned 2. And she attends Waverly Child Care and Preschool, and she also crosses Bramer Avenue with her brother at least 6 times a day, or a week, a day, and enjoys attending the public library as well. Do you want to say the rest of these? And then we could say the rest of these as a family.
Ma'am, could you speak your name, please?
Sure, and I'm Helen Leong. I live at 98 Home Boulevard, so I'm one of the affected homeowners by the change in Bramer Avenue.
And I'm Eric Leong, same residence. And we're here to voice our support for the 30-lane configuration on Bramer Avenue. I attended all 3 public informational meetings, provided my comments to the DOT's website as the process requested, attended at least 1 council meeting that included discussion of the proposal, continue to follow our local newspapers' coverage of the proposal, and have grown increasingly concerned about the focus of the discussions regarding the DOT's proposal. I support the proposal for one clear and significant reason: improved public safety. To my knowledge, there has not been a single reasoned or evidence-based case made that the existing 4-lane configuration is safer than the proposed 3-lane configuration. I acknowledge that local law enforcement and fire safety personnel raised some concerns about the proposed configuration, but those concerns were matched anecdotally by comments from similar personnel from similar Iowa communities that have successfully implemented road diets. I am certain the council and community value public safety, and the DOT's proposal has clearly identified the significant safety benefits of the 3-lane configuration over the existing 4-lane configuration. I encourage the council to consider the priorities of the entire community and recognize that traffic will continue to be congested at certain hours of the day, no matter what configuration we have. Heavy snowfalls will require piles of snow in the middle of Bramer Avenue, no matter what configuration we have. Combines will take up more of the road than cars, no matter what configuration we have. Yet, based on the hard evidence, the 3-lane configuration will make Waverly's main thoroughfare significantly safer every day than the existing 4-lane configuration. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you both. Other public comments? Thank you for that, Edith. Appreciate the. I think we're ready to start over on our vote, and we're free to change our votes if that. Yes.
Mackenzie.
Again, I appreciate the comments, and hopefully we will get to that, but I'm going to vote in favor of this.
Gade.
Yes.
Chair.
No.
Kangas.
Yes.
Reznicek.
Yes.
Waldstein.
Yes.
Lampy.
Yes.
Resolution 16-80 passes 6-1.
Mayor, before we leave this topic, I would like to be the second council person to request that the staff and James come back with some type of plan to test some different signaling patterns on 4th Street in West Bremer. That by far was the unanimous feedback from the community that that intersection is problematic, and it's probably long overdue to have some attention. And again, I know, Mike, you've shared in the past that it may not help, it may make things worse, but I think we owe it to the public to try something. So,
If I can speak to that, in 2009, 2010 is when we last did the signal upgrades, and at that time there was a comprehensive traffic study and phasing to look at what was the most efficient, effective signal timing through town. Our community continues to grow. Traffic patterns continue to change and be dynamic. WHKS is under contract with the city to investigate things like this as part of this project. They have done the traffic modeling and traffic study along the Bremer Avenue corridor, so I would like to engage them, engage Tony, who showed up here a couple weeks ago to talk about signal timing and phasing. They would be the ones that would most readily be able to show you what types of changes may be able to improve the timing with the current configuration.
that would be great. I think having the experts weigh in would be very helpful. But,
One of the challenges, though, is they seem to be negative to changing because of the studies they've done. And I guess I'm kind of the opinion, I think we just need to change it.
You can't do that. You need to have it supported by engineering study that is backed up. You really can't just say, well, we want to do a trial and error to see what the right timing is. This is also a state highway. So we need DOT concurrence and support, and the way you get that is to show it through traffic modeling, what the impacts and benefits are going to be.
I thought the DOT said we were in charge of the traffic
They
light.
told us that we own the light.
I heard that.
That's true, but that's not licensed to do whatever you want.
So the first individual that came, he talked, and maybe this is a topic we probably need to extend this, but he seemed very clear that there's technology that we can put into place. If there's cars backed up, they'll let them go, I guess.
Yes, we have vehicle detection for the side streets, but we do not have it for the Bremer Avenue mainline corridor. So there is all types of technology. It's just a matter of what you're willing to spend for the benefit.
I think letting WKHKS
Yeah.
try to model something for us and at least see what they say, and then we can go forward from that.
Okay.
Depends how much, again, they want to charge for that.
Yeah, we're not paying for that. I mean,
I would rather, if we could check with the DOT to see if we can extend the signal the last 5 more seconds to allow 3 more cars or whatever it is, without having to pay to do that. But if that's the route we have to go, to pay money to.
I will ask them if they will let you do a trial and error, and we will let you set the timing.
I would rather have,
We'll look into it.
Yeah, if that's what it takes, we'll do it.
I don't think it's council's job to set the timing of the roads, lights, but yes.
If that's what we need to do, we can start setting times and lights.
We can, that's what, I guess.
I mean, I don't quite understand why. I don't quite understand why we wouldn't want somebody who knows something about this to give us some information.
We discussed, and let's bring them back and stuff, but it was just discussed, and it was, and I apologize, I don't remember the names, but the first DOT individual.
Dave Little.
There you go, thank you. Seemed pretty open to studying different ways to improve that. But after that, it seemed like the conversations were a little bit negative. At least I took away that we almost had to change the 3 lanes before we could make changes and so forth. And I agree with everyone that's saying that, people just tell me, can you fix that light? So that's kind of what we're up here to help do, so.
Well, I'm all in favor of that. I guess what I will say is I don't think and I'll be so bold as to say anybody else sitting around this dais knows what the best thing is to do to fix it.
I think that WHKS, with the nudge that you're hearing here from the council, and I would add in the mayor, just to come back with us with their thoughtful responses. Then, as the pro temp said, then Mayor Pro Temp says, then we can take it from there. But I'd like to do this in proper protocol, and so let's do that. Planning and Zoning Commission minutes have been given to us for August 4th. Any comments? Officially received. The Board of Adjustment minutes for August 8th been received. Any comments? Officially received. The Bremer Waverly Law Board minutes for August 8th. Any comments? Officially received. And the Airport Commission minutes for August 11th have been received. Any comments?
Mike, did you want to say anything about Mitch or just kind of acknowledge?
Can you help me out with the date occurred, Bill?
Mitch Bond, one of the commission members.
Airport
passed away.
Commission, right, Airport Commission member, longtime serving Airport Commission member, and on September
It was a week ago, last Saturday.
September 10, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
September 10, passed away after a battle with cancer.
Okay.
So we'd like to acknowledge his service to the community and long-serving member of the Airport Commission.
And condolences to the family and friends. Yes. Thank you. Other comments in its Airport Commission minutes are officially received. Staff comments.
I have none, sir, unless staff has any they want to add. We have none, sir.
Okay. Council comments. Let's start on this side.
I don't have any, thank you.
Mr. Dan?
No.
This side?
Got Oktoberfest coming up this weekend.
Friday, Saturday.
That'll be a good tradition started in Waverly.
You still need volunteers, by the way, so if you want to sign up for shifts, sign up as on the website that you can sign up for a specific shift, and then they'll email you back and remind you. So.
Waverly, a college river town with a rich heritage. To be celebrated this weekend. Thank you, Tim.
Nothing here.
I'd just like to take a minute to kind of comment on a kind of an eventful week. As Chief Hoppel indicated last Monday night, the firefighters here in Waverly finished up a very successful hosting of the fire convention. And the one thing that sticks out in my mind is how welcoming they felt in our community. Time and time again, they would stop us, shake our hands, and not only thank us from keeping the campgrounds open after 3.5 inches of rain, but just compliment the community, the businesses in town, how welcoming they felt, and there are some communities they don't feel that way. So just that small town feeling. And then last Friday, the emergency services here in town were called to a serious house fire. And I saw individuals step up during that and go above and beyond what I think the normal person in Waverly would expect to not only do their job, but back each other up. We had 2 police officers that put themselves in harm's way to rescue a lady from house fire. And while that was, hopefully I can get through this without choking up here, but I certainly compliment them on that. But I had the opportunity to watch this unfold as the pump operator, and just the support that I saw the three agencies providing each other. Firefighters were backing up the EMS folks. As the two officers sat on the front of one of our trucks catching their breath, repeatedly you saw members from each of the three services come over and check on them, shake their hands. Again, it just highlights the great community that we have. And I can't say enough about being able to serve that community when you see both welcoming strangers and putting up with the chaos and some people had to change their driving routes and those type of things. But then to see the folks that on a daily basis may get overlooked or unappreciated step up and do the job they did is amazing. So just good bookend to a week, I guess. So.
Yes. And heroism is always a part of Waverly since I've been a child. And Rich, could you comment on any of that, or is not ready for that? Okay, I can see. Wes?
Yeah, I agree with what Dan said. I mean, I heard a lot of great things about the fire convention and how beneficial that was to our town, and a lot of things sold, a lot of busy restaurants, a lot of busy IV, and a lot of places like that. So that all went really well, and I know a lot of people had a lot of fun being downtown and getting to watch the competition as well. But it all kind of comes home when he says when you actually, the people that were here celebrating actually go out and do that, you know, save lives and stuff. So it's kind of nice to Waverly be the place where they come, where they can kind of have a good time and skate for a week maybe before they go back and have to get back to reality like that. So just a couple of things that I'd like to add on the light timing issue. If we could do that as fast as possible, because that's something we could actually change before the reconstruction. I mean, we can change the light turn signal at any time. So I'd like to get that moving, because that's one thing, that is the overwhelming thing that I hear from everyone. Even before we talked 3 versus 4 is, you know, the light turning at Bremer. And then I guess this is just some research that I would like to have done, but I know there's some things coming forward with Prairie Links and coming forward to planning and zoning and things like that regarding the driving range. If we could look into if the driving range is actually still open or has already been closed, or there's, I've heard some things that I don't think the driving range is actually open currently or maybe not able to be used based on certain equipment they may or may not currently have anymore. So that would be something to look into to see.
I used it within a week. Would that make it open?
It's more recent than that.
Oh, okay.
I know it's something that contract needs to be upheld until it gets there. So if there's a change in something that has happened out there with equipment that they may no longer have, that's something that we should know about before it gets even to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I won't say too much anymore, but I can tell you more later.
Yep. Matthew? Just a little comment on, I heard a speech from the president of Dubuque University, and we all know Dubuque University is doing extremely well, and they've gone from one set of wherewithal to, I mean, they're just booming. And their president is given a lot of the credit for this, and he gave a lecture on the importance of culture in an organization and a community, and he listed 3 items that are extremely important that lead the culture. And one is a sense of kindness, and I thought, every organization, but even how we function, we want to always keep that in mind. An ability to listen, we need to keep that in mind, and propensity for truth, but not at the expense of kindness or listening. And he made an interesting comment after scoring all these wonderful points, and he said that culture trumps strategic planning every time because a strong culture has the energy to get the job done. I think this goes to the town, but maybe us too. Let's always watch our emails, make sure that they're in the culture of kindness, listening, and truth. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn?
Second?
Second.
All in favor signify with yes.
Yes.
Opposed with no. Meeting is adjourned.